you go through the Jay Sauter days, and that's really, I guess, you went through 98, 99, and Richard comes to you and says, what? We're going to start
a Busch team or something.
Okay.
We want to start 2 Busch teams because at that point I think Mike Dillon was driving for Detroit Gasket. That Detroit
Tad
Gasket
Geschechter's
72.
car?
No,
not yet.
No, I don't think yet. Or maybe that was before. Man, I don't know. Maybe it was Tad's car then, and maybe he drove the 72 prior to that. And so he was wanting to bring him in-house. So he was like, hey, we're going to start a 2-car Busch team and whatever. And so we had our 5 or 6 or 7 people, and we decided to do that. So told us that what we were going to do. And I remember talking about people who were going to drive it and all that. And that's where you showed up on the scene.
Yeah. So he didn't come to you and say, hey, I need to, these are our candidates.
I don't remember exactly. Will was handling most of those kind of things. Will Lind.
Yeah.
But I remember talking about you and paying attention to you, and you were in like that Porter Cable truck or something at that time. So I remember Brad Daugherty, and I remember all that. So yeah, I remember watching you as your name was coming up through all those things.
So we get to the end of 99, and I go to RCR. I go with my dad, and so to kind of backtrack on all this stuff, I had gone from Wayne Spears at the end of 98. I had taken Brad Daugherty's ride with the 98 truck for the 99 season. And we get about halfway through the season, and the whole sport goes crazy over trying to find the next young driver.
Right.
Every Cup team had more sponsorship than they could possibly spend. You had choices of who you wanted your sponsor to be. So everybody's looking for the young driver. So I get a call from Richard, Cal Wells, and Joe Gibbs. So I said, what am I going to do? Well, I wanted to go and drive with Earnhardt. That was the deciding factor why I went to RCR, because I wanted to race with on the same team as Dale Earnhardt, because I was a fan, my dad was a fan. So we walk in to Richard's office. I have my dad go with me, and we walk into Richard's office. He said, "Hey, we want you to drive this car." And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. So I go home and I had to go get a lawyer because I had just signed a 3-year contract
had to buy your way out
to drive the truck. I just bought my first house, and I had to take a second loan out on my house to buy myself out of my RCR or my Liberty Racing contract to go to work for Richard. And we lived off of Delena's credit cards from the end of the season until we started after Daytona, when I had started getting my paycheck first of the year. So we had to live off of Delena's credit cards because I didn't have any more money. I remember everything I had.
Yeah, I remember Richard, like, you're going to buy yourself out. If you're going to do it, that's what you have to do, right?
Yeah, because he didn't want to get involved in making somebody mad or breaching a contract or anything like that. So I had to go buy myself out of the contract, and then we started down the path that we went down. So it was that was an odd time because of we were starting a new team, bought yourself out of the contract. But for me, I thought that was what I needed to do. So we start off on this journey in 2000. We were.
You remember the first Busch race we ran?
Well, we missed the first race.
Oh, no. Well.
Remember? We went to Darlington.
Okay, but I was thinking it was Darlington.
We went to Darlington the first time.
James Finch's show car that we borrowed.
That's right.
Okay.
So Richard borrowed a car.
We borrowed a show car from Finch.
That's right.
He had out on the show, and that's what we went and did our first race with.
That's right. Yeah, we went to Darlington the first time. Second race was at Rockingham, and the motor blew up on like lap 2.
Okay.
And then we go to Daytona. I think we finished 5th. And then we go to Rockingham, miss the race, and that's what happened.
The milk carton.
That's right, the milk carton.
The milk carton, yeah. You still have that in your trophy case?
I do.
Yeah.
I still have that in my trophy case. Yeah, so we missed the race at Rockingham, which was the second race of the season.
Yep.
And I had a pretty fun group of guys that had a sense of humor and been around it all. I had not. My whole life was basically on the line because I had just bet everything that I had that this was going to work out. And we missed the second race of the season at Rockingham. Well, I leave Delana at the racetrack. I go back to the hotel. I shut all the curtains and I lay in this bed. And she shows back up just mad because I left her at the racetrack. And next week, I didn't really respond to anybody. Didn't really know how to handle anything. And what they do, they make 2 milk crates with my face on it.
Well, yeah, it was that one was the missing one.
The missing one, that's right.
The first one was missing, and it was we had it while you were gone, and then we had the one where you found on it too.
That's right.
Will did all that. He did a really good job with that.
Yeah. So to this day, I still have those milk crates. But I think for me, the most interesting part of that first season was really like the first 12 or 13 races, because Richard, I view Richard as getting a little bit frustrated because of the fact that we hadn't won a race. I think he was under a lot of pressure because we had taken the AC Doco sponsorship from Dale Sr., and his team was they were going cup racing. So the AC Doco sponsorship had actually moved over into RCR, and I think he felt a lot of pressure to go out and win. Well, I was tearing some cars up, and we hadn't won a race. Did you feel that pressure to start or remember the pressure to start the season?
I don't remember the pressure to start the season. I don't. I remember how hard it was, and I remember, just getting everything built and putting all that together. I remember we put our very first car together, had it completely done, went to the chassis dyno, burnt the car in the building halfway to the ground, and
that's right.
I just remember it was just one thing after another at the beginning, but we finally found our way. So
we found our way at St. Louis. That was the first place that we had finally broke through and into victory lane. But the crazy part about this time period, and I think it goes a little bit probably into the 2006 season, the crazy part to me, and I know we built a team, and those are probably not the things that you remember either, but the thing that I remember was the development in the race car from the beginning of that 2000 season until the 2006 season. Because I don't think a lot of people realize that I think that we developed coil binding.
Right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah. So the process to get to the development of all the coil binding stuff was pretty fun, because we tested
every day, every week, sometimes twice a week.
Every week.
Yeah. So.
And we tested at any racetrack that was open.
That one year, I was paid 232 days per diem.
Wow.
Yep. That one year there that we did all that testing, I was paid 232 days per diem.
Yeah.
Hey, race fans, thanks for watching our video. For all NASCAR on Fox News, content, and the best clips from Fox Sports, be sure to follow and subscribe to our channel.